around 40 kilometres I'm going to run today. Here's where I'm starting. I'll be quick 360. I'm going to try and do it all over the fells, the moors, socially distant. Setting off, it's on the loose Anglezarke Amble route, adapted to make sure it's 40 kilometres. I've got my Garmin 245 thanks to my sister. I'm going to set that off using the navigation feature for the first time, see how that works. And I've got this GoPro to try and capture some footage along the way. So we'll see you back here in probably 6 hours. You can see it's still frozen, it's very slippery underfoot, so to be careful. Now, it's going to take 6 hours, I reckon. If it's under 5, that's some kind of a record for me. There's over 1,000 meters of climbing in the run, going over Rivington, Winter Hill, Entwistle to Entwistle Reservoir and back, and we'll see what we can see along the way. This road is so slippy that it's difficult to get a grip on. Thankfully it's starting to thaw out. There's nothing like an old English back lane though, is there? Beautiful. Oh wow, you can see how slippy it is. Here we are, Anglezarke Reservoir. Beautiful. Waterman's cottage, and we'll run round the back of there shortly. So this is the Waterman's cottage. And round the back, nice. Down here we start getting onto the real trails, so it's going to get challenging, the terrain. I've got some sandwiches for my lunch, I've got 2 litres of water, I've got some Nike Zoom Wild horses on, give me a bit of grip, nothing special, but this is one of the steepest hills around here, at least on the road. Maybe you can see 17.5% I think it is, and here's where we start going into the woods and the trail proper. You can see it's not the easiest of terrain, but I'm glad this morning that it's quite frozen, because things could be a lot worse. Let's face it. I'm trying to keep my heart rate around 150. Certainly that'll help me go the distance, but also build my aerobic fitness, which is really what I'm hoping for. And this is why it's quite slow going, and why something that's less than marathon distance might indeed take me 6 hours. I think at this rate I'll be happy if I get back in 6 hours for me tea, but also because it'll be going damn dark. Okay, so nice view of the reservoir. Wow, beautiful. Right, I'm a few kilometres in. I've already slipped, put my foot in a puddle, so my feet are wet. But this is a good place, a nice view of Anglezarke Reservoir and the overflow. And this overflow looks beautiful, coming from Yarrow Reservoir. So I'm going to continue to run down the side of these reservoirs now towards Rivington, and then get into the up to the barn and up to the pike. Okay, so you can see where I'm headed to from here. Climbed up beyond the top of the reservoir between Yarrow and Anglezarke. It's probably upper Rivington actually now, and that's where I'm headed. I'm going to head to the pike and then across the top of that moor, Winter Hill, past the TV mast, over the other side, and see where we get to. When you're in trainers and you've got something like this that you got to think about, so I'm gonna fucking run and jump it is what I'm gonna do. Oh, my foot is properly wet already. No, I'm not fancying that. Feet are absolutely soaking. I have to run that off. Climb the wall, come down, and I better drive it. God, it's cold and wet here. Right, through. Oh, nearly, bloody hell, they're off. So I made it to the joint between the two reservoirs. You can see it's looking pretty uninviting and that it's getting foggy. But now we're in Rivington, so we're getting somewhere. Okay, Rivington Hall and Rivington Hall Barn. Into lots of weddings and that here. Come on a Sunday with all the bikers. I suspect it's going to be pretty quiet today. Oh, yeah. Look, they're taking Christmas decorations down. Here's the barn. And the pike is up there through the trees, which I'll be headed to now. Beautiful scenery around here. This is now climbing up towards the terrace gardens and toward the pike through those woodland. So we're in the woods coming up from that field. There's lots of ruins and stuff in here from Lord Lever's time, before he gifted the park to the people of Bolton. You can see lots of work's been done to make paths and stuff through here, but really it's a beautiful place. For example, nice little waterfall that started presumably because everything is just melting. I have to say that this Garmin is particularly easy to follow. I'm on the trail, it's telling me the direction to go. It's giving me a lot of faith in it. So this is in the terrace gardens. This is one of the pools. It's completely iced up. I'm going up there. Let's just have a look at it. Wow. Nice. Let's go. Oh, looking really frozen now. As you start getting that bit higher, still very slippy. This is what's known as the old lawn. Oh, it's really slippy. Must have been really quite a prestigious thing when it was all new. Let's keep going up. Right, this is the Pike, an old hunting lodge, but it's very slippy, it's cold. I'm going to put my windproof on soon once I've got to the top of these steps. So here's the view. You can't even see the reservoirs because of cloud. But there's the Pike, beautiful in the snow. Here's the moor. You can see the two lads just on the horizon, and Winter Hill TV mast, which is Huntley in low cloud, which is where we're headed. Over that way you can just about see where Great Hill is, where we're going to finish up, having done a big loop. Down there's the Pigeon Tower, and this is the route we've come up. So we'll look off that edge. Ordinarily you'd be able to see Middlebrook and Bolton Wanderers Stadium from up here, but not today, obviously. Come on. Right, so I'm coming down off Rivington Pike, and I've done about 10 kilometres. There's a couple of other people out running, which you probably can't see, but I'm not the only one who's this daft. I'm making my way from Rivington Pike to the two lads. I think this watch says I'm on track. You can see that, which is great. And then just look at the scenery from here. Beautiful, crisp. Cold. Probably going to need my windproof soon, but it's very clear. Wow, nice winter scene, and hopefully on the top of there is where the cairns are. Right, I've made it to the two lads' cairns. So somebody else by the looks of it. Just see Winter Hill mast, that's where I'm headed next. Actually it's quite clear. There's an old one there that's been built back up, and this one. So as the story goes, two lads died in a snowstorm because they got lost, and then well, whose sons they were is a question still, were the Saxon kings or someone of a more modern era, question mark. But so after the story's consistent about two lads getting caught in a snowstorm. That's where I came from, over Rivington, and actually you can't see that at all. You can just see that he is headed down there as well. Good lad. This will be the test of the this will be a test of the Garmin because you can't see where you're going. I don't know where I'm going. Loosely I do. And we'll see if it takes me to the service road. When I get there I'll prompt it and you can see what the navigation's like. Right, I've gone off track. You can't see where I've come from, but it's up there. And the watch is telling me to get back on track. You can see with the red arrow, blue arrow where I am, red arrow where I'm supposed to be. So I need to head in that direction, which is correct because I've just come to this bridge, but as it happens the service road is just there, and that's what I'm taking to go up and over Winter Hill. That's a clear direction, clear route, heading towards that mast that maybe you can see. But it's genuinely cold now, so I'm putting on my windproof. Have a little bit of a break here. My heart rate's gone down, so I'm cold. But we're on the top of Winter Hill. It's definitely below zero. So this is definitely gonna help. The bag will be broken. You can see the weather. Now what's remarkable here is that there is a whacking great, you can see it mast just poking through the clouds, and it's pretty cloudy, pretty cold. But what's a couple of interesting things up here, and the lights are flashing. It's dangerous for what's bloody falling ice. But here, look, unfortunately a tragic accident, the Manx air disaster where a plane crashed. Everybody was killed apart from one person, the stewardess, which is remarkable. Very lucky. But absolutely, while we're here, one thing that I particularly like is the phrase at the bottom, somewhere around the corner all is well. And I think that's a phrase that can be true for, I've said a lot of times in life actually. That's a massive mast, sorts out all the TVs around here and other stuff. Whether you can see it or not I'm not sure. But another interesting thing up here is Scotsman Stump, which I'm at now, where many years ago, 1838, George Henderson was killed, murdered for some reason as a travelling salesman, I understand. It's an unsolved murder. May you rest in peace, and everybody else. So here's where we're going. We're at the top of Winter Hill now, and we're turning right to go over towards Belmont Moor. Normally spectacular views, but depends if you like winter or not, I suppose. It's looking pretty good today if you like winter. This is coming off now. You see the sun only just, and here we go. Edgerton Reservoir, here we come. Entwistle Reservoir, sorry, here we come. Still in the clouds, and but coming down off Winter Hill still towards Belmont. It's still cold, but keeping it moving, keep my heart rate up to keep warm. It's quite difficult because it's slippy, but you can see this is a fairly well trodden path actually. They go for mountain biking. Pretty much down off Winter Hill now and coming back onto the moor. As you can see, it's still foggy. So I stopped for a selfie at the speed camera now that I've reached Belmont Road. You can see public footpath to Winter Hill. That's where I've come from. Oh, it's absolutely soaking. And this is where I'm headed. Down through Belmont and over that way. The road's closed, presumably because of bad weather. We'll see what's down here. So, covered quite a bit of distance now, coming up towards Entwistle Reservoir, I think. It says I've nearly done 19k, and now we're on a seriously steep hill that is iced up and very slippy, so I'm going to take it easy up here, let the heart rate come down, and then we'll take stock. Beautiful around here, all the Christmas trees in the woods there behind me, but check this road out. That is just black ice, sheet ice, very slippery, like see what I mean? Here's an indication of how far I've come. I'm not that far off Entwistle Reservoir now. It's taken me, so that's about half a marathon. Right, so after a section on the road, which lasted a bit of a while, I'm now at Entwistle Reservoir, but immediately what's here is the memorial forest. Respect to that, a life for a life, I approve. Still very cold over and foggy over this way, but we're going to head down to the reservoir now. It's the first time in a while there's hardly any snow, just a bit of frost, but very boggy. In fact, picking my way through this forest is not the most obvious, but I'll find the way. Got to head downhill, I guess, towards the reservoir. And here I am. I've made it to Entwistle Reservoir, which I'm sure you can see, considering it's so foggy. But let's just have a go at jumping this way. Right. Oh, so beautiful. I'm going to do a lap of this reservoir and then head back. So it's basically an out and back loop that takes me 40 kilometres. I'm at 21 or 22 now kilometres. So once I've gone round this reservoir, then I'll be heading home. It's just as well because it's taken me about 3 hours to get here because of the terrain. So could be a dark and late one tonight. This is the back end of Entwistle Reservoir with the overflow. It's quite unusual. Nice. You probably can't see much because it's still foggy, but this is Entwistle Reservoir. It's muddy, it's wet, and it's iced up. Looks like a diving platform or something out there. I doubt it's good for free diving. Who knows? Who knows? Another bloody blockage. So I don't know what the right thing to do is, whether it's do this or not, but let's have a go, because it's precarious that way. Obviously I'm into the reservoir if I slip, but it's better than going through all that bog. Right, alas. I get off again. Good. Right, so it's not got much better. I'm making my way through the woods instead, because at least I can pick my way through the dry. Look at that there. See, the path's all right now, but I need to get across that flipping pond that started. It's practically a second reservoir at Entwistle. Anyhow, I'll get across there. Down here, I reckon. And here I am. Alhamdulillah. Back to the path. Oh, and something that I've come to see up here has just shown itself, which is the wader. And probably you can't see it, but what I'm going to do is stop, get some scran, and get a decent picture of it. I'm not sure what the definition of a picnic is, but this isn't one. It's just my mum's made me butties. Thanks, Mum. Right, one of the things that I've come to find is the wader, and it's at Entwistle Reservoir. It's like a sculpture. You can see it's behind me there. I'll give it a close-up. So it's a heron, and it's a local artist, Marjan Wouda. It looks like it says to me, and it's actually really nice. It looks especially nice in the fog or the mist of the rest of the reservoir. But I've just had something to a sandwich. I need to get moving because I've got myself cold. But definitely we are now on the way back. Just checking the watch and saying I've got 16.5 kilometres left, so that's pretty good going actually. Not sure how long it's going to take. It's up and over the moor. There's something else to find on the way. Well, let's give it a go. It's kind of a beautiful scene. Some kind of a ford and a nice little bridge going over it. It's looking like we're still on track. Nice. So there's some pretty impressive rocks here. This is a tight turn at the end of Entwistle Reservoir. Cadshaw Castle, it springs to mind. Cadshaw Castle rocks, I think. Amazing. Nice colour. Right, I've made it out of Entwistle Reservoir. Here's the proof, and here's the road that I'm going to take just up there to that next turning, and then over the moor to try and find a site where a Mustang crashed in World War II, and then back over from the crash site back over to Belmont, and then over the moor and to top of Great Hill, from Great Hill back home, or back to where I started at least. I don't care what coat you've got on, guys, it must be cold. Oh, there's lots of them. Just as well, I'm not relying on signs for direction. It's pretty misty up here, but thanks to this Garmin, it seems to be telling me exactly where to go. We'll see about that. I seem to be miles off the route, but I found a public footpath and what looks like a proper brook that I think I should probably be following, so that was not a great experience. My feet are soaking, but here we go. Well, something of an off-road excursion. Now I'm clearly back on a path, but the point of this was to try and find the crash site. Whoa, it's really slippy. Try and find the crash site. I think it's up there. Look at the state of this. My feet are soaking. Get this off of. I reckon it must be up there. This is actually where I'm headed going forward. I need to get back here and across that moors where I've been. Flimes. Let's go. Right, I have to say, if it wasn't for the Garmin, there's no way I would have found this. This is really quite remote, and today there's very few landmarks, but it is with great respect that I have found the crash site of Hebert Noga, who in the Second World War crashed for some inexplicable reason a Mustang here, an RAF Mustang, and was obviously killed on impact. This is the crash site, and you can see there's some twisted metal, and some local guys have put a cross there to recognise it, which is very good of them. So much respect, Herbert. We will remember them. Back on the trail now, and you can see it's pretty white over. Oh, it's very slippy. You've got to be really careful underfoot. Not a very well used track, obviously. Thankfully, I think I'm headed in the right direction thanks to this thing, and you can see this is not somewhere you want to be hanging around for a long time today. You can see now I'm right on top of the moor, and the path has become not much of a path like it was, the trail. You can see as much as I can see, which is not much, and got about 10 kilometres left, it looks like to me, so not bad. I know from the summit of Great Hill it's going to be about 6, so I must have about 4 kilometres, 6 to get back to where I started this colossal loop, 40 kilometre loop, and so that means there must be about 4k to get to the top of there, and I would estimate that about 2k off this moor to Belmont Road, another couple of k to the summit of Great Hill, which I have to admit right now I'm looking forward to seeing. That is the path to Darwin, and I'll tell you where I'm not going today, although I do wish I could see the tower, but that's for another trek. So if this is the top, then it must be, yes, Belmont. Look, Belmont. Tragedy on the moors, December 17, 1917. Longton, Bolton and Bolton. I wonder what happened there. Greater love hath no man. Rest in peace, guys. I'll read about it. Dear me. You can see why it's pretty bleak up here. I'm absolutely elated to say that I've made it off the moor. Welcome to Darwin Moor. I've come from down here, up here, and I can hear the sound of the road. What is a pad do is I think I can see loads of stuff hanging in the tree from dog walkers, which is a shame. I need to do something about that. My word, it's still so slippery. Yeah man, here's the road. that road takes me to Belmont Road, and then I have to cross the moor there with some more, I think, to get back to where I started. It's quite familiar to me once I get onto the top of that hill again. Let's go. One thing that drives me mad is people leaving litter, but not least in this, that ducks get their necks stuck in it, and that it's terrible for wildlife. So that is coming on with me. I certainly hope there isn't a cycle event in progress. That must be old. But here we are on the main road now. And as you can see, the weather's still bad. And I'm headed up there to that public footpath, I think. Well, it's slow going here because it's completely boggy, but seems to be only, oh my god, that's too boggy to stop. Seems to be only about 7k left maybe, but currently, clearly, seems like I'm in the absolute middle of nowhere. Good crack on. So here's some interesting tracks, which maybe it's deer, something like that, but I can hear some funny noises coming from over that moor, so it's time to get a wriggle on. Right, for me this feels like I've made it. I'm at the top of Great Hill and I've got 6 kilometres to go, so it's pretty blustery up here. I'll have a look around. Normally you can see a long way. You can see Winter Hill, Rivington Pike, down to the coast, sometimes Isle of Man. You can see it's pretty blustery, it's cold, very windy, and visibility is pretty poor. But I mean, you can see the windbreak, which is good. So now I'm heading down, and it's the final 6k, and I'm absolutely elated. This is my favourite route to run down, and I'm going to enjoy it before I get back on the road and do the final few kilometres to complete the loop. Come on. Well, there's no way a camera can do this place justice, but that's where I've come from. You can see the clouds maybe billowing over the top of Great Hill, and now we're definitely back onto Cold Moor because the moon is out very slightly, and from this part of the moor, if you look over there, that is Healey Nab, and that's about where I started this 40 kilometre loop. So not far now, just got to get down off this moor and then back to the starting point. Oh my word, it's so dark you can hardly see the paths, but I can assure you that I'm nearly down. I've run out of SD card space on my GoPro, but I've made it to White Coppice, and here it is, the cricket pavilion, changing rooms, whatever. That's the cricket pitch. You can, these will be familiar sights. Now all I've got to do is get back. Should take me 20 minutes or so. Right, it's difficult to tell. You probably can't see a damn thing, but I'm arrived back. I completed the course, the 40 kilometre course. So 40's for 40, man. Done it. Come on, alhamdulillah. Now, I noticed that I'd done a little bit more than 40 kilometres, 41 point something, so I carried on running just to make sure I did the 42.6 to get the full marathon in. So that's what I've done, and I'm happy. That's cool. And I've seen a good lot of the local area with a couple of sandwiches from my mum, not a picnic. It just shows what you can do if you put your mind to it. Even if it's freezing, you can carry on. And I'm back in time for tea.